Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. 2A Views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is?
Uh-oh. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
That's right, folks. Today is Hump Day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as I always like to say, the fun is all in the trying.
Oh, yeah. That's how you do it. Got to keep trying. Keep trying.
Got to keep trying. Never give up. That's how we do
right.
it.
Never give up. Never surrender. Yeah.
Never give up. Never surrender. Just order another drink.
Pour me something tall and cold.
Good stuff, sir. Missed you yesterday.
Yeah, well, you could blame the Florida traffic for that. It just decides at times that, well, heck, there's a squirrel on the side of the road, so we're going to cause a 20-minute delay taking a look at it.
Right. Now, if it were a gator, nobody would pay attention.
Oh, no. Well, some people would get out and play with it. They try and ride it and take pictures. But people don't slow down for them. Yeah. It's just, right. Oh, what's that, a gator? I see that every day. But what's that, a squirrel, playing with his nuts? Yeah, I got to stop and look at that.
So the other day on the show, you weren't here, but I actually had found a video from Sora that was a kid hopping on the back of a gator and the gator taking off running and the parents running and chasing him. It was hilarious. I was like, okay, I know this is AI, but it was still hilarious. It was just like, wow, okay.
That's some Florida stuff. That's what would happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see my grandson doing something like that.
Yep. You're like, hey. Gator rodeos. Yep.
Good stuff. So, hey, folks, just want to remind you, if you're watching the program on YouTube, on Facebook, on Rumble, on Twitter, and you're watching it live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, we're taking your comments. So if you want to give us a little chitty chat, go ahead and let us know what's up. We don't care. We don't care if you agree with us. All we care is that you are interesting. But do know that if you disagree with us, we do reserve the right to mock you.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Man, is it a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
State bird of Florida right there, the mockingbird.
There you go. Yes, sir. That will be the plan. We will mock you. And it's not because we want to be mean. It's largely for entertainment, mostly ours.
Yes, our entertainment. Exactly.
It's for our entertainment, to be specific. All right, let's get into today's program. But before we do, we got to do what you know we got to do. And we're going to start with a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's say hi to our friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. You need yourself some AR barrels. They've got rifle caliber, pistol caliber, any length you desire. And they've got an assortment of other custom barrels for rifles and pistols that you wouldn't believe. Get on over, check out their website. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best tactical concealed holster on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. That's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. If you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, fire, law enforcement, security, EMS, paintball, I don't know, Cub Scout maybe. They probably got it. Get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor. Do them a favor. Do yourself a favor. Visit their websites. We make it real simple. All you have to do is follow the links in the description to this program. Go there, check them out, spend some money with them, and make sure you tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into today's news. And today's news is in part kind of a, how shall we say, a clarification. Because, well, we all know the news, well, they don't always tell the truth, do they? I mean, that's just kind of how the mainstream or the lamestream media does. But you probably heard the story about the illegal immigrant and the TikToker and the federal agent who got shot during a raid or during an action or whatever they call it there in Los Angeles, California. Well, let's just say that there's a lot more to the story than they are telling. And here's the report out of ABC7, which is kind of the local news station that's telling the story.
More breaking news right now. A federal investigation underway after an undocumented immigrant was shot by federal agents during what's been described as a tense immigration operation.
And Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda is live in South Los Angeles, where the scene remains active. Carlos.
That's right. The investigation is still going on at this moment here. You can see behind me the police tape. Also, some of the streets here are blocked off. But this is a very busy street right here. This is Trinity. And this is where a lot of cars are coming by. And sometimes they'll just stop and look and see what's going on. Now, all of this happened early this morning around 8:52 a.m. That's when the call first went out for help. The shooting happened on the 400 block of East 20th Street in Los Angeles. Federal officials say this was a targeted enforcement traffic stop of someone who had previously escaped from custody. Witnesses tell me the person involved is a TikToker who regularly follows ICE. This is a recent live stream of that TikToker who is known as Richard L.A. This man, who also takes video, told us what happened.
O sea, él estaba ahí en su carro. Parece ser que él, pues obviamente con el miedo, con el nerviosismo de ese momento, él no.
He told me the man was in the car and it looked like he was nervous and afraid at that moment, and he didn't want to get out of the car. He says agents then fired rubber bullets and tear gas because there was also a lot of smoke in the area. A U.S. Marshal was also hit while conducting this operation. DHS says in a statement the suspect began ramming the law enforcement vehicle in an attempt to flee. Fearing for the safety of the public and law enforcement, our officers followed their training and fired defensive shots. The illegal alien was shot in the elbow, and one law enforcement officer was shot in the hand by a ricochet bullet. And there's no word at this moment of the conditions of either the suspect or of the federal agent.
All right, so Mike, you notice that had it not been for the statement released by DHS, you notice nowhere in their report were they mentioning that, number one, that dude, rammed their car, right? That he was actually physically attacking them. No mention of that at all. Anyway, I found that, and then by the way, they shot a federal agent as well, but didn't say that. Well, it was actually from a ricochet. It wasn't like they shot him. I mean, they want to make it sound like these guys are out there buck wild doing whatever, when the reality is they were defending themselves. And oh, by the way, we don't need any troops out there because, well, we don't need anybody out there to defend evidently these agents, because there's no violence taking place against them.
Yeah, right. And listen, you talk about showing restraint. The vehicles are being rammed. That's 100% authorized use of deadly force right there. They could have turned, Craig, with the actual real firearms and made that car look like Swiss cheese until it stopped moving. 100% justified at that point. But they didn't. They used defensive ammo. Did you hear that? Defensive ammo, you know what that is? That's the paintballs and them rubber bullet kind of nonsense. And the officer that was shot in the hand with a ricochet, Craig, I don't know how you shoot somebody in the hand with a ricochet. What you do is you get hit with a ricochet. That's right. Just all that happens. And I don't know if that was, because it doesn't sound like to me they were using actual ammunition. I mean, maybe somebody had one and somebody pulled the trigger and there was a ricochet. Could have been. But a ricochet is not getting shot. Ask me, because I've had hundreds of ricochets hit me, at varying different speeds, over my years at the range. It's this again, like you said, without these statements coming forward, this would have been, ICE out in the streets killing citizens or killing, the less fortunate or whatever they want to call it.
Right. Well, or as they put here on their page, TikToker shot by federal agents. Yeah, dude was here illegally. Yeah. And he was attacking officers, but nobody, you didn't bother. All you did was you said, well, according to them, this is what was happening. Yeah, I don't know. Once again, this is there's a reason why in some cases you're starting to see the president's numbers in some of these areas go down when it comes to the enforcement, and that is because what is happening on the street is being completely and utterly propagandized by the left-wing media.
You mean the level of enforcement is going down?
Well, no, they're saying that their poll numbers in terms of how Trump is handling immigration enforcement, he's gotten less support than he did when he first started doing it. But that's largely because they're misreporting what's going on.
Yeah, and you listen. I guarantee you, Donald Trump would say, "I'm not concerned with my poll numbers. We'll just see how it goes at the next election when I need my poll numbers." Right?
Right. Pretty much.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Pretty much.
He's going to carry out the agenda he promised, and that's what he's doing.
Exactly. And he's going to get his ballroom.
That's right.
Gotta have the ballroom.
Hey, that guy's got the biggest ballroom in Washington.
Well, he's got the biggest ball, so he needs the biggest ballroom, I guess.
There you go.
All right, folks, this next one is really interesting. So right now with the shutdown, one of the biggest reasons, one of the biggest fights over the whole shutdown has to do with Obamacare subsidies. Now, you might recall back during COVID or back in the midst of COVID, there was an extension. It was a whole bunch of money that was put up to actually subsidize Obamacare. Now, here's the reason why they felt like they needed to get away with that, because in the very beginning, and they've said this from the very beginning, by the way, Obamacare, which was supposed to be the Affordable Care Act, did not make healthcare more affordable. It absolutely did not. All it did was subsidize and give more money to insurance companies, right? But it did nothing to reduce the cost of healthcare. Well, they saw, Democrats, as they usually do, let's not let a good crisis go to waste. Let's go ahead and provide let's go ahead and increase and provide an additional subsidy so that we can try to bring, at least keep the health care or the health insurance costs down. Well, Democrats who were in charge, who put this together, they tried to make it permanent. They couldn't make it permanent. They had to include a sunset, and now it's sunset. And the reason why they're trying to pass this, the reason why they're fighting so bad is because it's really the folks that are in blue states that are the ones who are going to see their insurance rates go up most significantly. And that brings me to a story over here at Newsweek, where they denote that over 100,000 people see healthcare premiums spike. And this was, by the way, just in New York. It says here, Democratic New York Governor Kathy Hochul has slammed Republicans after healthcare premiums increased significantly for more than 100,000 New Yorkers. Around 140 in the state will experience heightened healthcare insurance costs, let's call it healthcare insurance costs, if the GOP continues to block the extension of existing enhanced premium tax credits. Now, Mike, here's what's interesting about this. Notice the way that they're saying this. Republicans are blocking this. Now, wait a minute. They're not blocking anything. They're just not approving anything. I don't get how, quote unquote, they're blocking something. It's not like these things would continue to exist, but Republicans are saying, no, it will not go. They don't exist. They're gone. They sunsetted. The law is over.
Yeah.
But they're making it as if the Republicans are the ones that are at fault here.
Yeah, and I think this is one of them ones, unlike what's going on out there with the ICE propaganda, that people are seeing through. No, this is over. They're just saying we're not going to blindly give you more of it because it's done.
Right. You use COVID. Right. You use COVID as the excuse for these subsidies. Well, COVID's gone.
Yep.
So you shouldn't need the subsidies anymore, right? Well, no, the problem is that, once again, the Affordable Care Act did absolutely nothing to make healthcare affordable. And that's the big bugaboo. That's the thing that nobody wants to admit. Part of the problem is that people who, once again, were at the lower part of the People who are younger and healthier and felt like, well, I don't really need insurance, they didn't buy in. Once the Supreme Court said no, you cannot force this tax or this fine, people are like, well, if I don't need it, I don't need it.
Yeah, exactly right. It's just more of a, of the socialist state. That's what they want. Everybody must have, and we're going to take from everybody.
Right. And once again, government subsidies mean, let's just be real. Government subsidies means taxpayer subsidies.
Yeah, and listen, make sure you understand this. And listen, we've seen it now, proven with Doge and with their, with USAID and all the other organizations up there that have been since disbanded. Every time a $1 million payout goes out, maybe half of it's getting to where it needs to go, and everything else is being split into all the big people's pockets.
Well, and that's the thing that I try to get some of my friends on the left to understand. It's like, look, they try to say, well, Republicans don't believe in helping the poor or doing this. No, Republicans do, because if you look at it, study after study has shown that Republicans give more of their money to charity than do Democrats. Democrats believe that the government should do it, and they have no problem giving your money to the government. And the problem is government does nothing efficiently. They just don't. And for every dollar that you get in, at a minimum, 50 cents goes into the bureaucracy, and the rest of it, well, gets wasted.
Well, straight theft, Craig, is
Right.
what we're getting. I mean, you get, again, let's say there's $1 million and it goes to the pet project of certain senator or certain congressman, right? Well, it gets funneled through a nonprofit. Well, the nonprofit chair just happens to be the senator's, niece or wife or something, and they pay the head of the nonprofit $300,000 a year.
You mean like Governor Gavin Mussolini and his wife, who
Yes.
basically makes films and sells them in books and whatnot, and sells them to the school, talking about the transing of the kids?
Straight theft. Go to jail kind of stuff.
Right. Exactly. Bad stuff, bad juju. It ain't good, and I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that, at least in this particular case, the issue is being addressed. And here's the thing: ultimately, if you want to lower healthcare costs, then a couple of things you got to do. At least health insurance costs. Number one, you got to allow people to buy insurance across state lines. So that companies that are in states that have lower regulations will be able to compete. Competition always lowers costs. Number two, you got to deal with and you have to address the issue of frivolous lawsuits. So much of our healthcare costs are driven up because, number one, you've got attorney's fees. But number two, there are a lot of unnecessary things that are done, tests and all of this other stuff, because they don't want to get sued. So if you can address, first of all, those two things, you're going to see healthcare costs go way down.
So let me just clarify. And I know you're correct in what you're saying, but it's a verbiage thing. Healthcare is not expensive. Healthcare insurance costs are expensive. I've frequently gone to a doctor, Craig, and said, listen, I got to have an MRI done on my knee, whatever the reason is. What's that going to cost? He goes, well, by the time it goes through insurance and everything else, they're going to bill your insurance company $2,500 because we're hoping to get $1,250 back. I said, okay, doc, what's the cash price for it? I'll take $200. The healthcare cost is easy, but when you involve the insurance companies and all those giant conglomerates, everybody's got to get fed. So that's why it costs more.
Right. When you go to the hospital, oftentimes you're subsidizing the person because they're not getting full freight either, in some cases for some of the insurance companies. They're not getting full freight. They're not getting full freight for the people who are on Medi-Cal or Medicaid. Yep. And so because they're not getting full freight, you wind up subsidizing it. Now, if you make it easier for doctors to be more independent and to charge you separately, I mean, here's the thing: what we've done with both government-run health to come down.
Yeah, listen, and additionally with the military healthcare system. Now, obviously, if you're living on base, you're going to get that healthcare there. But for those retirees that don't live near a base, or for those people that are still on duty that don't live near the base, it's a negotiated rate. The federal government has already said, this is the rate you're going to get for an X-ray. This is the rate you're going to get for that surgery. This is it. And if you refuse it, you lose all your other federal subsidies.
Right. Not good stuff. Anyway, healthcare is still a mess. Healthcare is still a mess, and just the thing I wanted to point out: already gerrymander. They already draw the districts in such a way that Republican represent.
This is what the party pickups would be for congressional districts. Republicans, 5. Missouri, 1. North Carolina, 1. Ohio, 2 or 3. Indiana, 1 or 2. Florida, still discussion down there, but that could be another gold mine for them if they tipped it even further their way. Kansas, 1. New Hampshire, 1. And Nebraska. Democrats, Utah, California, Maryland. Look at this. If you offset California and Texas, Missouri and Utah, North Carolina and Maryland, everything left over is an advantage to the Republicans. And don't forget, the Supreme Court is considering what could really be the end of the Voting Rights Act, which would protect minority groups. So you don't have a state that's half black, for example, that elects only 1 congressional member and everybody else goes to the Republicans that would represent that population in some ways. So if that is gutted, Democrats could lose 19 seats. This would be a huge amount. But this is also a measure of how much the White House is concerned about this, because Donald Trump knows if the Democrats get the House again, there could be new investigations just like last time. There could be a new impeachment. There could be a lot of impediment to these plans that right now the Republicans in the House and Senate are letting run like a freight train.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I don't know any state that's half black. I just, if you know of one, let me know. Not even Maryland is half. Not even Maryland is half black. But anyway, all that having been said, what he's also not pointing out is that it's already been proven that there were miscounts in the 2020 census. Right, we know already that California and New York and I think Illinois have too many both congressional seats as well as presidential electors. That's obviously going to be redone in about a decade. But the other issue is that from 2020, if they're just doing it based on the numbers from 2020, we've seen the populations of states like Texas, states like California, states like Florida have changed significantly. In California, they've lost population, and a lot of the people that they've lost have been Republicans, and those Republicans have gone to good Republican states, which means more Republican districts. So Republicans could be looking at potentially a long-term gain in Congress, both from this mid-decade redistricting, but also once the new census numbers come out in what will now be just little over 5 years.
Yeah. Craig, to answer your question, Mississippi highest with 38% African American. But remember, African American doesn't mean Democrat. African American means racial makeup, not political makeup. So that's they're not getting, not voting.
It depends on who you're asking, because if you're asking, would it be 4 of the Supreme Court, 3 of the Supreme Court justices?
Yep.
To them, it's not supposed to be the same, but that's kind of what they're arguing.
Yeah, and they're making a racial argument. It's kind of weird. They're making racial assumptions. Florida is also probably going to pick up 5 once the redistricting is complete down here. I showed you a picture of one of the extremely gerrymandered districts down here. We've got a couple of those that'll be taken care of as well. And how about, Craig, the pat on the back here for President Trump playing 4D chess with Newsom and getting him to take the bait, because as soon as he started arguing about the California gerrymandering, the rest of the states around the country went, well, if he's going to do it, I'm going to do it, and we're going to get him back. And here we come out with a 19 vote lead, as opposed to Newsom thinking he was going to get a five extra votes, toppled up on their side.
Well, and once again, that's 4D chess. He knows, and once again, he is the ultimate troll, and he knows how to get in their skin. He really does. And he knows how to trigger them into doing exactly the thing he wants them to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so hilarious. It's almost, it's sad to watch. I mean, just like, sending people the Trump 2028 hats.
Yeah. Yeah. But did you see how they do it though? But they put it on Don Jr.'s head.
Yeah.
So everybody assumed on the left immediately that meant Donald Trump Sr. was going to run.
Mm-hmm.
It was Don or Eric wearing the hats,
Right.
Don Jr. or Eric wearing the hats. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the fact that they literally spent an entire weekend talking about no kings, and well, hey, guess what? We don't have any kings, so evidently it worked, I guess.
Yeah, a king would have had you all arrested and put in jail and thrown away the key as political dissidents. I didn't see that happen. Did you see that happen?
I did not see that happen, but that's exactly what a king would have done.
That's right. That's right.
All right, folks. Well, that now brings us to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, one word, and get your hog holster today. Our first one here I found on Facebook, and I loved it, so I had to share this one. It says, for those of you who do not know, President Trump is tearing down the East Wing in order to build a 90,000 square foot ballroom. However, the plans do include a hotel.
Trump Tower, DC. I love it.
It's attached to the White House.
Yep.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. I don't care who you are. That's funny.
Yep.
All right, this next one here is not a political joke, but I figure for those who watch the show, some of y'all will get this. This is a fun show. This is a fun joke here.
An older gentleman driving an old beat-up truck gets into a fender bender with a CEO's Ferrari. The CEO gets out of the car, examines the damage, and decides to bully the old man. Hey, old geezer, that damage is going to cost $50K to fix. Either you give me the money right away, or I'll beat the shit out of you. The old man apologizes. I'm so sorry, sir. I don't have that kind of money, but I'll tell you what, let me call my son. He might be able to help you out because he trains dolphins. The old man calls his son and explains the situation and then hands the phone to the CEO. The CEO blasts him straight away. Your father ran into my Ferrari, and if he doesn't give me the money to fix it, I'm going to beat the shit out of him. And if you bring your little hippie dolphin ass training down here, I'll beat the crap out of you as well. A calm voice on the phone said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, 2 military vehicles pull up, 6 large guys come out and beat the ish out of the CEO. The son goes to his dad, says, are you okay? The dad says, yeah. He goes, Dad, for the last time, I don't train dolphins, seals. I train Navy SEALs.
That's pretty good.
That is a good one. Yeah, every time I come across these guys, they're always telling, and then not all of them are appropriate jokes,
Right.
but yeah, their jokes are always funny. And finally, President Trump has decided that he is going to rein in ICE. This being reported by our friends over at the Babylon Bee, fake news that you can trust. Trump declares White House ICE-free zone until construction on new ballroom is done. I think that's how he's going to keep it under budget. What do you think?
Under budget and under time. Yep.
Under budget and under time. Orale.
Yep.
All right, folks. That brings us to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Make sure you get over there. They got all kinds of barrels, rifle barrels, pistol barrels, anything you could desire. Take a look at, and they can get it for you. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, everything they got, all kind of gear you can think of, get on over to uscombatgear.com with your group order, with your agency order, and you can get everything under the sun except the gun.
That's right, folks. Once again, please visit our sponsors. All you have to do is follow the links in the description to this program. Make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. And with that, we got another one in the can, number 997. So, Mike, tomorrow's 998.
Yep.
Friday, we're going to party like it's 999.
There we go. Party like a rock star.
There you go. Monday, episode 1000.
Yeah, I'm going to put a clean shirt on.
Yeah, y'all don't know. It ain't easy to do 1,000 episodes.
That's right.
But we figured it out.
And Greg's actually done 1,000. I've probably done about 9 1/4.
You've done more than your fair share. Let's put it that way. All right, folks. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Please encourage your friends to do the same. Remember, like, share, subscribe, that. Encourage your friends to do the same. We will holler at y'all tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Peace out.